You can absolutely have health and fitness goals while healing your relationship with food. In fact, you should be getting healthier and feeling even better in your own skin as you go through this process if you do things correctly. And so I am going to be so brutally honest inside of this training. I'm going to shoot it straight because I want to see you succeed. And I want you to feel the best that you've ever felt in your own skin. I want you to have the most effortless relationship with food, and shooting it straight, telling you exactly how it is what's actually going to get you results. So I'm not holding anything back. Now, the reason why you feel like you can't have health and fitness goals, or maybe you can't prioritize your health and fitness goals as you are working on your relationship with food, is because you are focusing on food freedom over freedom of choice. And there's a really big difference, and I'm going to explain the difference to you right now. Food freedom is essentially you eating technically whatever you want because you can. You're no longer restricting yourself. You're no longer tracking your food. You're no longer dieting. So technically, you can always get dessert, and you always get dessert. At 3:00 in the afternoon, you always have a snack, even if you're not technically hungry. You're not focusing on how certain foods make you feel. You're acting out of impulse. You still have urges. Now, the problem with food freedom is, although, of course, you want to get to a point where you're allowing yourself to have ice cream without the mental noise. You want to be able to go out for dinner and order something within 5 seconds on the menu. You want to be able to say yes to dessert or say no to dessert. You want to be neutral around food. The problem is that you're not focusing on what's nutritious and what's delicious. You are just telling yourself, I'm no longer dieting, so technically I can always have dessert. I mean, I'm no longer dieting. I don't have to stop eating after 7:00, so I'm just going to have a snack before I go to bed. There is a very clear difference between food freedom and freedom of choice. So food freedom is you're just telling yourself, I could eat whatever I want. I can have the dessert. I don't have to say no to dessert. Even though there's nothing on the menu that really sounds good for dessert, I am going to have dessert because I can. I'm not restricting myself anymore. I technically can. You have been so conditioned to deprive yourself, to restrict yourself, that now you're actually on the complete other side of the spectrum where you're afraid to feel deprived. You're afraid to restrict yourself. And so you always say yes. Somebody offers you food and you know that you're not even hungry and you just say yes. It's 3:00 in the afternoon and you want a snack. And even though you're not craving anything, you're not even hungry, maybe you're even a little bit urgy, or maybe you're just bored, you act on it because technically you're allowed to have a snack at 3:00. And again, even though you want to be able to eat the ice cream, even though you want to be able to enjoy all the foods that have once been off limits, you are often just acting on impulse and saying yes to food because you can, instead of actually having true physical cravings for those particular foods. And this is actually making you feel crappy in your own skin. When you eat foods just because you can, because you're not dieting, you often feel more bloated. You often feel way more lethargic. You have way less energy. And even when you love going for your walks, You love working out. You often don't have the energy to do that. / you just feel uncomfortable in your own skin. Like even throwing on leggings to go and do a workout feels very uncomfortable for you. And so when you're uncomfortable in your own skin, when you're lethargic, when you're bloated, what do you often tend to do? Not only do you not get in your workouts, but you often eat more to make yourself feel better, and you often eat more because feeling really good in your own skin feels further and further and further away. When you are already uncomfortable in your own skin, you think to yourself, feeling amazing in my own skin feels very far away. I'm probably never going to get there. So let me just eat some more because I'm not going to feel good in my own skin. I'm already bloated. It's like the all or nothing mentality, except not with food. It's more body image related. And so the only reason you feel like you can't have health and fitness goals while prioritizing your relationship with food is because you're focusing on food freedom. And of course, I'm going to be straight up. Of course, you're not feeling better in your own skin because you're acting on your urges. You're focusing on food freedom, eating whatever you want. And I tried that. Maybe you're in this position right now. I remember this was, I believe it was 2018. And I was like, okay, well, I want to heal my relationship with food. And so I need to allow myself to eat all of these foods. And I remember it was one time just going to the store with my mom, and we bought all of these different foods. And honestly, like, I love eating healthy. It's never been hard for me. It's actually the most easiest thing for me to eat foods that are nutritious. I enjoy those foods. And I remember just going to the store and buying all these like processed foods that I normally wouldn't actually eat. But technically, because I was allowed to eat them, I bought these foods. It was like different types of cookies, different types of crackers, and all these like processed foods that I normally wouldn't actually even want. But I remember buying all these foods and eating them because I'm like, well, this is food freedom. Like, I would see other people say they have food freedom and they were just eating all these other foods. So I thought like that's what I needed to do. And I have never felt more worse in my own skin. Like, I was more bloated. I was breaking out. I was heavy. And I wasn't even enjoying those foods. I felt like crap. And I said to myself, this can't be right. Like, there has to be a better way. Like, I don't want to heal my relationship with food to feel worse. I don't want to heal my relationship with food to feel more bloated and lethargic and be eating foods that actually make me feel like crap. And I said, there has to be a better way. And I recognize that that is not a healthy relationship with food. I said, I'm shooting it straight to you. Eating whatever you want is not a healthy relationship with food. That is you treating your body like a trash can. And you don't want that. You want high energy. You want to feel good in your own skin. You want to live a long life. You want to be strong in the gym. You love working out. You love taking care of yourself. You don't want to feel like crap. And so I recognize like that was more food freedom. I've never resonated with food freedom. I don't want to be eating whatever I want. And so this is where I started focusing on freedom of choice. I wanted to be in the driver's seat of my food choices, not my urges, not boredom, and not my emotions. When you focus on freedom of choice, you are being intentional about what it is that you eat. And Cassie said, I've been following you for a little while now. Love your advice. I'm so glad. Cassie, Cakes and Cupcakes. I love it. Is that your own business? That's so cool. Let me know in the chat box. I love seeing other fellow entrepreneurs. I'm not sure if you're an entrepreneur, but I'm just guessing by the title of your handle. So I started focusing on freedom of choice. I wanted to be able to, yes, of course, eat some chocolate without losing my shit. I wanted to be able to, of course, like get dessert if I wanted to, but at the same time, I wanted more than anything to be neutral around food. This is actually a healthy relationship with food when you're not even focused on food. People often think a healthy relationship with food means have the cookies, you're not depriving yourself. Have the dessert, you're not depriving yourself. A healthy relationship with food is you are not even thinking about food. You're literally so neutral. You're out for dinner with your husband and you're so busy having a great conversation, you're not even focused on what you're eating or how much you're eating. It's just like you're so present, you're so focused in the moment. Food is like an afterthought. That's a healthy relationship with food. A healthy relationship with food is not, well, I could order dessert, even though I'm so full, but like I can, so I'm just going to order dessert. Cassie said, it's my business, which makes eating healthy extremely hard. There's always a way. There's always a way. And in fact, if you get rid of your urges, it's going to be so much easier to eat nutritious foods because you're in the driver's seat. And this is what freedom of choice actually is, you guys. Freedom of choice is you are the one making decisions, not external circumstances, not what your husband brings into the house, not what's just available. Food freedom would be, well, I'm at the bakery and there's cookies here, so like I'm just going to have one. Freedom of choice is tuning into your body and listening to your intuition to ask, does this sound good right now? Am I having a craving or am I experiencing an urge? And then actually listening to it. So if you want the cookie, you have the cookie. If it's a true physical craving. But if it's an urge, you're not hungry, you're not experiencing a craving, you know in your body this is not a craving, you're like feeling impulsive and you act on it, that's not freedom of choice. That's not you making the decision, that's your urge deciding. And it's really hard to feel really good in your own skin when you're not in the driver's seat of your food choices. Your urges are. When your urge is telling you, go get more. Go have the cookie. And you know you're not even hungry. You know you're not even having a craving. It is hard to feel really good in your own skin when you're not making the decisions. And when I was working on my relationship with food and I was having these urges, it feels like you, right? It feels like, no, but I want it. No, but I do. No, you don't. The badass within you doesn't. Your urge wants the cookie. But you're so used to acting on impulse versus acting on your intuition. You're so used to having food freedom versus freedom of choice. The freedom of choice is where you are in the driver's seat. You're the one making the decisions. You say that food doesn't make you feel well, and so you don't have it. This is not restriction. People are so afraid of feeling restricted. If a food does not make you feel well, you're not depriving yourself. Now, you don't have to completely eliminate it, but being mindful of it is a pretty good idea, right? If there are certain foods that don't make you feel well, a healthy relationship with food is not, well, just eat it because you can. Because then you're going to feel bloated. You're going to feel lethargic. And like I said at the beginning, when you feel bloated, lethargic, and heavy, you're not motivated to move your body, even if you love it. You often eat more to comfort yourself because you don't feel the best. With freedom of choice, you can absolutely have dessert. You can absolutely not have dessert. Either way, you're neutral. So if you have the dessert because you are the one that decided, like your true intuition was like, yes, that sounds good. You don't go overboard. And if you look at the menu, nothing sounds good, you also don't have FOMO. You don't feel like you're missing out. If you choose to not have dessert, you choose to not have dessert, period. You don't feel impulsive when you get home. You're not thinking about it the whole time. You're just like, no, thank you. Because you decided. If your urge decided that you want dessert and then you're trying to fight against yourself, okay, don't have it, don't have it, don't have it. You're going to think about it the entire time you're out for dinner. And you're probably going to go home and end up binging because you felt this urge, right? It's like you still have urges. So your body's like, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. And when you're uncomfortable and you have urges, how easy is it to just give in? But it feels like I want it. No, you don't want it. Your urge is convincing you that you want it. You don't want it. Your intuition is like, I am so full right now. I don't need any more dessert. That's your badass, true intuition, higher self. And your urge is like, yeah, but we're so used to getting dessert, so I'm just going to get dessert. Okay, but like my husband's getting dessert, so like I don't want to feel like I'm missing out. You're not missing out. You have to rewire your brain to see that saying no to dessert doesn't mean you're depriving yourself. It means you're respecting yourself because you're either full or you're not feeling it right now. And that's okay. Again, I see people go from one side of the spectrum to the other. You're so afraid of depriving yourself, so every time you go out for dinner, you always have dessert. That's not a healthy relationship with food. A healthy relationship with food is sometimes you say yes, and sometimes maybe you don't if you're full, or again, there's nothing on the menu. You don't just order it because you can. Who do you think is going to feel better in their own skin? Somebody who always says yes to dessert, even though they're full, they're not craving it. It's like every time you always just say yes to dessert. That's not a healthy relationship with food. Again, that's food freedom. Versus somebody who it's like they look at the menu and they see maybe a cheesecake and they're like, meh, no thanks. They're so neutral. And then they go another time and it's like, oh, this brownie with ice cream, that sounds so freaking good. Then they have it. They enjoy it. Freedom of choice. They decided the brownie is what sounds good. The cheesecake, meh. This is a healthy relationship with food. You're so neutral. You're so neutral around it. If you always say yes to dessert, even though you're not hungry, even though nothing on the menu sounds good, that's not a healthy relationship with food. That's let me just eat whatever I want. And I have been there, you guys. I have been there where I was like, I'm not dieting anymore. So I remember I share this story. I remember for a period of time, I used to have bagels and cereal. I swear to God, at every single meal. Because I was like, oh, I can. I'm allowed to. And I loved bagels with almond butter and peanut butter and cereal, or like mixed granola with almond milk and like fruit. I loved that. So I was like, well, I'm allowed to. So I had that multiple times per day. I did not feel good. But it's not restriction to say you should probably get in some protein and some vegetables. It's like, that's what freedom of choice is. It's like, I have the freedom to have the bagel and have the cereal, but also I want to eat like a badass who takes good care of herself, who has energy, who is able to get up early to do her morning routine, all of her things on her to-do list, the movement that she really enjoys. The foods you eat also impact your mood. And so eating whatever you want means you're not going to be able to regulate your emotions. And when you're not able to regulate your emotions, come a really stressful, overwhelmed day, you're in the pantry. Versus somebody who has freedom of choice, who says, you know what? I'm actually good. I don't need dessert right now. They have a greater capacity to process their emotions. They're in a better mood. They have greater mental clarity, less brain fog, less bloating. Giving into habitual urges versus getting in touch with my intuition has been a big game changer for me. Yes. And people often it's like, well, I'm not dieting anymore. So I'm just going to have the cookie. And it's like you act on impulse versus just taking a pause. Just taking a pause. Freedom of choice is you listening to your intuition, not your urges. You taking a pause versus being reactive in autopilot mode. You should be getting healthier as you heal your relationship with food. My clients, and I can confidently say this, my clients get so much healthier when working with me and healing their relationship with food. If you do things correctly, you should feel even better in your own skin. You should be even healthier. Because you're not focused on, I'm allowed to eat whatever I want. I'm not really even wanting a cookie, but it's there, so I'm going to have it. That's not eating like a badass who loves herself and respects herself. That's, I have an urge and I'm just going to give in because I don't know how to be in the discomfort. Well, technically I'm allowed to have the dessert, so I'm just going to have it. You want to feel damn good in your own skin. You want to have energy. You want to live a long life. And this is not about saying no to foods that you want. Do not get this twisted. What I'm saying is this is not saying no to foods that you want. This is saying no to foods that make you feel like crap. This is saying no to foods you actually don't even want, but you have an urge to eat them. If you keep acting on your urges, how can you feel good in your own skin? If you just focus on, food freedom, how can you feel good in your own skin? Because you're just eating whatever. Certain foods make you feel a certain type of way. And when you continuously give in to your urges, you don't feel the best. And then you eat more to try to comfort yourself to feel better. So, the only reason you are thinking that you can't prioritize your health and fitness goals while healing your relationship with food is because maybe you've seen other people have food freedom and they're eating this and they're eating pizza and they're eating this and they're eating that. Yes, having a healthy relationship with food means have the pizza, zero food thoughts. Have the dessert without any urges to eat more than your body actually needs. But that is very different than I'm just going to eat the cookie because why not? I'm not even going to check in with my intuition. I have an urge and I'm just going to give in. It just sounds good, so yeah, I'm just going to have it. You're reactive. You're acting on your urges versus tapping into your intuition. Your body does not want you to feel like absolute crap. Your body wants you to feel so damn good. Your body doesn't want you to have 5 cookies. Your body doesn't want to feel bloated and lethargic. Your intuition knows how much your body needs. Freedom of choice. You are in the driver's seat, not your urges, and not even boredom or your emotions. And again, when you're eating certain foods that make you feel really good, you have greater capacity to process your emotions, like I said. Now, do you need to allow yourself to eat the foods that you want? Yes, because you need to take foods off of a pedestal. You can't have freedom of choice if You're not allowing yourself to have the foods you want. I am saying the foods that don't make you feel good, or the foods that you actually don't even want, but you're having urges towards, that's very different. So for example, I loved always eating healthy. Like it's the most no-brainer thing for me to eat healthy. But I was having these urges when I got home to eat 5 sweets come 9 o'clock at night. That was not my intuition. That was my urges. And I would literally go to bed so full, so bloated. I would wake up the next morning feeling like I was hungover. I had no energy. My leggings were so uncomfortable. I didn't even want to work out. I was in the shittiest mood. How can you feel good in your own skin when you keep on acting on your urges? And you just are eating whatever because you technically can. It's not restrictive to be intentional. There are such nuances in this conversation. If you're understanding this conversation, drop a badass in the chat box or let me know in the chat box if you're understanding these nuances. Because I'm so busy, I think that's why I was eating the wrong foods. But this is where the intentionality comes in. So again, it's like, it also would be in the category of food freedom is like, well, I'm busy, so like I'm just gonna eat this quick snack because, well, whatever. Versus freedom of choice is like, I'm gonna be more intentional. I gotta maybe do a little bit more preparing. Okay, so I've got a really busy day. So yeah, I gotta carve out time to go grocery shopping and have some nutritious foods in the fridge. That's a healthy relationship with food. That's someone who actually respects themselves to eat foods that make them feel good. And there's nothing wrong with like, grabbing a quick snack here and there, grabbing a protein bar here and there. It's like, I need something quick. But when you're doing that all the time, you often don't feel good. Like you probably know, it's like, I remember I used to have literally like 3 protein bars in one sitting. I did not feel good. And it was like, intellectually, that's not your higher self. Like, that's not your higher self. It's like your higher self wants these nutritious foods, but because maybe you weren't intentional about planning, it's like, well, let me just go what's quick and easy. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But when your body knows, it's like, I was actually just eating out of convenience instead of what my higher self actually wants, sometimes that becomes frustrating for you. Because you're like, I actually don't even want that. Making the decision that I'm important enough to pause for a moment and be sure I'm eating intuitively. This is so beautiful. Making the decision that I'm important enough to pause. Wow. You guys, this is a conversation on even like self-love. Like deeply respecting the woman that you are. And yes, having a healthy relationship with food. Yes, enjoy the chocolate. Get the pizza when you're out for dinner. But I'm talking about when you know that you're full. When you know that that cookie isn't going to make you feel well. You have to have the discernment to say, my intuition is saying, I'm going to skip that. And a healthy relationship with food means you're neutral. So you say no to the cookie and you feel nothing. No urges to binge when you get home. No crazy food thoughts of like, oh my God, I really want the cookie. Okay, should I have the cookie? Should I not have the cookie? Okay, I kind of want it, but I have health and fitness goals. Maybe I shouldn't have it. No, it's like, I respect myself. I'm not hungry. I'm not craving anything. And you're just so neutral. This is what a healthy relationship with food actually is. And that's how you get to feel so much better in your own skin. And you can still prioritize your health and fitness because you have the energy. Because you're eating like someone who actually takes care of yourself. And again, depending on where you're at in your journey, of course, you have to take foods off a pedestal. So on my journey, it was like things like dried mangoes, cashews, chocolate, almond butter. Of course, I allowed myself to have those foods, but when I was into my intuition was like, some dried mangoes sound really good right now. Versus I'm having an urge to say F it and then go have an entire bag of dried mangoes. Do you see the difference? One is intuition. One is, ooh, this sounds really good, craving, versus one is autopilot mode, acting on urges. I'm also learning to have feelings that I have to deal with instead of emotional eating to avoid those feelings, 100%. Feeling your feelings. But again, having the bandwidth, the ability to process your emotions comes with eating foods that make you feel good. It's not restrictive to say no to foods that don't make you feel good. It's really, really, really hard to feel good in your own skin when you're acting on your urges, when you're focusing on food freedom. I've never wanted food freedom. I would look at people who would, eat whatever they wanted. It's like, and not eat whatever they wanted, but it's like there was no intention. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm so intentional with everything that I do in my job, with my clients, in my relationship with Andrew, like everything in my life I'm so intentional with. But the eating, it was like, feel an urge, give in. I'm bored, just eat. There was no intentionality. I was eating based off of my urges, not based off of my intuition and what actually sounded good. What's nutritious and delicious, not, well, what can I eat since I'm no longer dieting? Well, bagels and cereal, well, of course you're going to feel like crap. Since following you, I've definitely been healthier as I food prep lots of veggies in the morning for the whole day before starting work, which definitely makes me eat healthier throughout the day. Yeah, and it's like, obviously, if you have food prepared, you eat better, right? Like, I know, it's like we all have ran out of food. Like, I stay at my parents' a few days so that, my parents can watch my son. And it's like you get to a point where it's like, okay, there's literally zero food in the fridge. And when you get to that point, it's like it's so much easier to just be like, well, guess I'm having some chocolate for dinner, right? But it's like you have to be intentional. That's a healthy relationship with food. That's a very healthy relationship with food. People think like healthy relationship with food means eating crap. No, that's food freedom. And if you're following food freedom, you probably don't feel the best in your own skin. But when you focus on freedom of choice, you're intentional, you pause instead of being reactive, you listen to your intuition versus your urges, you're going to feel so much better in your own skin. You're going to have the capacity to actually process your emotions. You're going to have the energy to actually wake up in the morning and do your morning routine and do your gratitude, your meditation, go for a walk, and just feel like the real badass that's within you. Freedom of choice. This is what I focus on. This is what my clients focus on. And the way that you get there, again, you do need to take foods off of a pedestal. But don't get that confused with I gotta take chocolate off a pedestal, so I'm just gonna allow myself to eat it, even though I don't want it. Taking foods off of a pedestal, you still need to act on your cravings, not your urges. This is another thing people get mixed up. Oh, well, if I want to take chocolate off the pedestal, like I just gotta eat it all the time. No, because you're gonna feel like crap. When you have a craving for chocolate, you're gonna honor it versus just eat it whenever you want because you can. Do you see the difference? When I took dried mangoes off of a pedestal, at first I just ate them whenever I wanted because I was like, well, I need to allow myself to have them, and I felt like crap. Then I said, okay, I'm going to eat them when I'm actually craving them. And because I was acting on my cravings, not my urges, I would have a few dried mangoes and move on. When you act on your urges, you'll finish the whole bag. When you act on your cravings, you'll have a few, you'll feel satisfied, and you'll move on with your day. There's a very, very, very big difference between food freedom and freedom of choice. And if you think that you can't have health and fitness goals while healing your relationship with food, it's only because you're probably focusing on food freedom. You're still acting on your urges versus your cravings. You're impulsively eating versus tuning into your intuition. I have never felt better in my own skin. I have only gotten healthier. That's what you should be feeling when you heal your relationship with food. Because healing your relationship with food doesn't mean eat whatever you want. You know the word intuitive eating? I don't even follow the traditional intuitive eating. Like, just give yourself permission to eat all foods. It's like, yes, but also if foods make you feel like crap, you're probably not going to want to eat those foods all the time, right? And this is why I focus on freedom of choice. You get to be in the driver's seat of your food choices. That's actual freedom. Freedom is when you are deciding what you want to eat, nothing else. Not because your husband brought in cookies, not because you're bored, not because you have an urge. It's like you're actually deciding, which means you can go to the restaurant and order a salad because it's actually what you want. That's actually what you want. You're not forcing yourself to order it. You're like, that actually sounds really good right now. Like one of my badass clients, she's like, I ordered a salad and it's actually what I wanted. There's no force. You can say no to dessert, not because you're trying to do good. It's like you have no desire. You're like, I don't want it. You're so neutral around food. Yes, drinking water is very important. I do electrolytes. I drink a lot of teas, coconut water, all the things. So I am sharing this with you because if you want to feel like an unstoppable badass in your own skin, you want to live a long life, you want to be healthy. And I'm not talking about health and fitness goals of like, you're obsessed over the way that you look. Because if you're obsessed over the way that you look, you got to work on that. If you're obsessed over what you're eating, you got to work on that. I'm talking about health and fitness goals, like health, like optimal health. You want to live a long life. You want energy for your kids. You want to physically feel strong in the gym. Fitness goals, like you want to be this badass. You want to be strong. That's what I'm talking about. If you're if you're obsessed in that other way, you got to work through that. But if you want to live a long life, if you want to have badass energy, if you want to feel so damn strong in the gym, it's like, man, you get to feel so good. Like you get to feel stronger, healthier, more energized. You get to be freaking glowing. Because when you heal your relationship with food and you stop acting on your urges, you actually get to decide what you want to eat. Not your urges, not boredom, not your emotions. And that's real freedom. Real freedom is not eat whatever you want because you can. Real freedom is what actually sounds good for you right now. What is your intuition actually saying for you right now? So this is the methodology that I use with my clients. It's what I use for myself. And again, like this should be so exciting for you because if you've ever been told like you have to throw your health and fitness goals out the window, like that's complete BS when you focus on freedom of choice. Like I said, you're only going to get healthier. You're only going to feel even better in your own skin. You should have less bloating. You should feel way more energized. Because if you're not acting on your urges, of course you're going to feel better. If you're not eating whatever you want, of course you're going to feel better. It's a win-win. You become more neutral around food. You're less impulsive, right? Because you rewire your brain. You eliminate your urges. And then you're the one making decisions around your food choices. So of course you're going to feel so much better. It's a win, 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 win. When you do things correctly and you focus on freedom of choice versus food freedom. So you get to feel, I always say, you get to have it all. Like I'm a true believer in you get to have it all. When I was first trying to heal my relationship with food and I was doing the whole food freedom thing, I was like, this can't be right. Like I don't even want this. Like I feel like garbage. I was like, no, I don't want this. So there is absolutely a way for you to feel so damn good and not have any urges and that's through freedom of choice. And this is what I teach inside of my programs. This is the methodology that I use, that I support my clients with. Yes, you got to take foods off of a pedestal. Yes, you got to heal your relationship with the foods that are triggering for you. But that doesn't mean just eat them whenever you want. It doesn't mean just have cookies and chocolate and brownies all day long, because you're going to feel like absolute crapola. And that's not what you want. You want to feel empowered over your food choices. You want to be neutral. You're like, I don't want to be thinking about food. Like, I got other shit to do. Like, maybe you have, like, one of my clients, she got 4 kids. Like, maybe you're like, you got a job, you got a family, like, you got more important things to think about other than food. So you will be able to have health and fitness goals while healing your relationship with food when you focus on freedom of choice versus food freedom. And this is really the methodology that I walk through and I support my clients with as well too. So your complete life transformation is so inspirational to all of us and shows what is possible when you put in the hard work. Yes. And Erin's one of my badass clients. And, I love when she said, like, when you put in the hard work, because she knows, like, this is not, like, healing your relationship with food and, getting to the other side, it's not rocket science. But you got to put in the freaking work. And all my clients, I love them so much because they're willing to show up and commit and put in the work, because man, oh man, when you do, you have the rest of your life actually experiencing freedom. Your foot is on the gas pedal and you're actually living your life so present. You have a better intimate life. You're healthier. You're in a better mood. Like, your life completely transforms because you're willing to put in the work. It's so freaking worth it. So, thank you guys for being here. If you resonated with this and you're like, yeah, I don't freaking want food freedom. I don't want to just eat whatever I want. Like, I love this concept of freedom of choice. Feel free to message me and I can share the different ways that I can support you with this. But thank you guys for being here. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye guys.